I spent some time in Bohol, with the Bohol girl and her family inside the bamboo house. When I was living there at the house, the family, as you know, they were milking me. They were milking Scotty Boy. They loved the extra cash flow being inside the house. So that is what I knew. Okay, that's what I knew they were milking me. Okay, what I didn't know was the gossip that was going on behind my back, and I was shocked to hear it. I was later made privy to what was actually going on. The Bohol girl had about 20 cousins, okay? So all except one of these 20 or so cousins was female for whatever reason. It's just a female kind of family. The word in the family was that the Bohol girl will be rich. This is what the parents of the Bohol girl are telling the other cousins. The Bohol girl will be rich. This is my girlfriend at the time. But what they're saying is, you will be poor. They actually said this. And when I heard this, I was shocked. Now, if they were just saying the Bohol girl will be rich, then okay, it is what it is, whatever. But the fact that they're saying and you will be poor, it's kind of like, whoa, that takes it a bit further than, what would be expected. So it's almost like they're taunting them because they don't have a foreigner. Now, some of these girls that were being taunted were young. I mean, they're, teenagers. But in the province, it's kind of like rich means average. To them, it means if you're rich, you're comfortable. Like if you're comfortable, if you're not struggling, that is rich. Like you got to realize, you got to step into their world to understand them. Anyway, yeah, that was one thing that's one story. Okay, that's story number one. It is the family gossip behind my back that I had no idea what was being said behind my back. This guy, he was married, okay? He's living in a wood shack. 3 young kids running around. I met them all myself. The guy works in a pig farm. That's his job. He's a laborer in a pig farm. Now, look, I met him. He's a happy guy, very talkative. He's always joking. He's laughing. He's a great guy to hang out with. I later learned that during this whole virus thing, he got another girl prego. I was surprised to hear it because he did mention how much he loves his family. Anyway, get some other girl prego. The girl that he got prego lives on the same street as he does. This was a high school girl. She was, I think she was 17 at the time when she got prego. Of course, now, during the great event, okay, in the world, it stopped these, kids, these high school kids or whatever. It stopped a lot of them from actually going to school. Now, how old was the uncle at the time? I'm going to guess he was 40, okay? So this was a teenage girl. He gets her prego. This girl, she's 17. She ended up prego. So she's single. And look, she's basically screwed, okay? Now, between you and me, she's basically screwed. So how did the wife deal with this? That's what I was curious about. How did the wife deal with this? She basically said, don't see her anymore. That's what she said. That was his punishment. And what's she going to do? Break up with the hubby? The girl has no money. What's she going to do? Kick out the hubby? The only guy who's bringing in the money so that they can eat? Anyway, she said, don't see the baby, don't see the girl. Basically, pretend that they don't exist. She knows this girl on the same street as them is raising her husband's new baby. But that's all she can do is tell the hubby not to see her or the baby anymore. The uncle, you got to realize, the uncle has nothing, okay? The 17-year-old girl and her fam, they're not going to expect anything. But sometimes, I wonder, what do these girls see in these guys? Obviously, the girl knew that the guy had a wife and kids. But the guy was guapo. Look, the guy was better looking than the average guy there in the province, just genetically. He didn't have any money, had no money, but he was a better looking guy than the other guys in the village. That is, he had no money. He had no money, but that's the one thing he had going for him. Now, I wonder, how the hell did they meet? How the hell did they get this thing going on? He probably met her outside as they lived on the same street. He gave her some attention. Maybe this girl was starving for male attention. As I told you, there's a lot more females in the high school there than there are males. What I wonder is look, between you and me here, I'm wondering, where do they meet? If kids, he got this teen prego, where are they doing it? The girl lives with her family. He lives with his family. Where, they don't have money to go to a hotel. Where are they doing it? That's what I want to know. Okay, well, let's discuss this for a bit here. In the Tim K, Tim K, he's got that house up in Samar. A lot of you probably don't know what that house is. It's just like some house that he basically only visits. maybe a few times a year. Well, there are places like that in the province, and these province people, they know about them, and they know about also like I've seen them myself. Like there are places there, they're clear cut, but there's nobody there. You just have to sort of walk along a river a bit, and then you're in this place. There may be a cow, okay, one cow, but there's no people. And you'll see, like I saw this myself. I wish I took a pic, right? But there'll be like some place for some farmhand to sleep. But it's just a house. It's a wooden house, like 10 feet by 10 feet. But there are places like this. They're just sort of semi-abandoned, and these province people, they know where to go. They know where to go where they can get some private time. I mean, the province people, they are definitely wise in many ways, They just know how to get things done. Like in more ways than one, if you know what I'm saying, but they know how to get things done. So this girl, she came from a bad situation, okay? Her dad ran away when she was young, okay? And the mom met some dude, later on, and the dude did not like the daughter, the girl that in question here. Now, I guess that's better than the guy liking her too much, okay? But anyway, I'm not sure what happened exactly, but she ran away and she was living with the Bohol girls' family. I met her when I was staying there with them, actually. So when I was there, I'd stay there for a week at a time, maybe, and she was also there, so I did meet her. Anyway, what happened during the, let's call it the spoon-demic, okay, the whatever. Anyway, somehow this girl and the dad of the Bohol girl, they slept together. Now, she says that she was R. You know what I'm saying? Forced R, Okay, but that doesn't really make sense to me. As it happened in their house during the night while everyone was sleeping. Now, I'm thinking there was some alcohol involved here. I know that she did drink, even though she was young. But who knows exactly what happened? We don't know. So I'm not going to make any guesses here. So the next morning, she runs away. And the chismis, or the word on the street, the gossip mill, was that she slept with him. So how did the family react? So it was entirely her fault. I mean, obviously, but that's how they reacted. She seduced him because she wanted to steal him, okay? This is the word on the street. She told me, steal him, I mean, you got to realize he is a big time, he's making a living, he's a big time hubble driver. She wants to steal him for her own, so she's got the comfort of a house. Anyway, she told me how the R, she told me herself that he R'd her. So anyway, she goes to two family members, including the grandfather, who was the dad of the Bohol girl's mom, basically the wife of the guy he slept with. So he goes to grandpa. She said that she wants to report the Bohol girl's dad to the police for R. Now, the grandpa says no, because if he goes to jail, who is going to support the family? Like, they got kids, they got 3 kids, he's got to support the family. So she goes to another family member, because not all went along with the rumor mill. Some believed her. So this other family member said the exact same things. Probably not a good idea to report him. It's basically the consensus here. So this girl is having a hard time finding a place to live, but she ends up at an aunt's house. So what she didn't realize was that this aunt and the Bohol girl's mom, they had a plan for her to stay at that aunt's house so she could get ambushed. They were going to ambush the girl. Like, they wanted revenge because, as the mom knows, she seduced the dad, her husband. So how did they ambush her? As she was sleeping, they cut her hair. That was the ambush. So she wakes up during the haircutting ceremony, and one is holding her down while the other one is cutting. Now, did she scream? No, she said she just put up with it. So after this whole thing, she runs away. She runs out of the house. She runs away. Now, where does this girl go? Where does she go? I mean, that was her last resort as a place to stay, but now she has nowhere to stay. So where does she go? So she's got this male friend on Facebook, sort of a chatmate. He's in a nearby town, and she asked if she could stay at his place, okay, just via messenger. So this guy says yes. So this girl goes to his town, stays with him and his family. Very soon, she gets prego. But luckily, the guy is a good boy. He works as a waiter at a restaurant there in a small village, and he does take care of her. So today that girl is happy. happy, and she's working at a sorry store. He's working as a waiter, and they're just basically raising a family. Now, she does have a baby. She's taking care of the baby at the sorry store. But they're making a living, and they're doing okay. So good for them. There's a bit of a short story of a German guy who, older German dude. He married an older Filipina lady in the province. Okay, so here we go. So the lady marries a German dude. So they're married now. They met online. They marry, and the guy buys, they went through the whole getting to know each other stage. They married. The guy buys some 2 million peso house. He's retired engineer. But the German guy, so they're married, they have a house. So the German guy, he has a vasectomy. He can't have kids. But the girl that he married, she really wants kids. Now, I'm going to assume the German guy was straight out, told her about the vasectomy. She knew. So she really wants kids, okay? So they're married. So she meets this police officer dude. And the goal is for her to get prego. So she starts banging this police officer, this local Filipino police officer. Now, the guy, she gets prego. The German guy dumps her. Now, from however it happened, they split the house. Okay, they didn't divorce, but they separated. They split the house. 1 million pesos for him, 1 million pesos for her. Okay, so they each got 1 million pesos. So the police officer, now she's single. She's got 1 million freaking pesos, which is like you getting 1 billion pesos. So she's got all the money in the world in her own mind. Now the police officer dude, he sticks with the girl. He's there every day. That's his girlfriend. As soon as her 1 million pesos has been spent, the police officer dude, he takes off. Now, I heard this gossip while I was down there from the boho girl's dad. It's like, she had 1 million pesos. That's the gossip, and it's gone. She had the money. She was rich, but it's gone. Now, if she stuck with the German guy, she would be comfortable today. That is the rumor. That's what people are talking about. She should have stuck with the German guy. But anyway, today that a woman is living in poverty. She doesn't have her own place. She stays at different people's places, but she's a single mom. She's got this kid, but Zippo money. So this mom has 3 kids. So there's a lady who lives with her longtime boyfriend, okay? So he's a hubble driver, okay? So this is somewhere happening in Chocolate Hills, This is the village life. So the lady has a daughter about 16 years old. So, but when they met, they've been together for a long time. The daughter was probably 6 years old when she met this hubble dude, okay? So she was a single mom with a six-year-old daughter. She meets the hubble guy, and they had 3 more kids. So time goes on, the hubble guy, he's drinking, he's causing problems. Basically, over time, she just develops hatred for the guy. She does not like the guy anymore. They are not legally married. It's just like a live-in thing. So she wants out. Okay, but look, it's just not dated. She does not have money. The guy owns the land, he owns the house, and I've seen pictures of the house. It's a piece of crap, just sort of self-built style house. So she is forced to put up with this guy just so that she has a place to live. And of course, the guy is the, biological father of 3 of her kids, but he's not the father of the 16-year-old daughter. So she needs him for the house. He provides the money. So she's basically stuck with this guy who she doesn't love. She doesn't like him. He's drinking. I don't know what else he's doing beyond the drinking, right? But it's not good. She wants out. So what the mother does is she's trying to, I hate to say it, but pimp the old 16-year-old dot. Now, what I mean specifically is that ideally, she herself, the mom herself, would marry some old foreign dude. And the old foreign guy, he would be with the mom and he would be the money source, the ATM for these 4 kids. But the mom, she's wise enough to understand that that's probably not going to happen. They'd have a better chance of meeting a foreign guy if she was, as I say pimp out the 16-year-old. But, she's thinking out of desperation here. She's got this 16-year-old daughter who is pretty. Okay, whatever, she is pretty. Now, listen, she's thinking she wants her to marry some foreign guy, or at least meet a foreign guy who's willing to get them out of this situation that they're in. Now, would the mother have this same mindset if she were born in America? No. Even in the most desperate situation, probably not. But she was not born in America. She was born in the Philippines province. That's how she thinks. Basically, to sum this up, she wants out of her situation. She just wants to live as normal a life as she can possibly live. So this girl, she was in Bohol. So this is a 13-year-old girl in Bohol at the time of this story, okay? She's not 13 now. So she had a profile on a dating website like Pinoy Love or something like that. I can't remember. But she put on there, of course, that she's 18. So she meets this guy from Europe. And now this guy, he's 50 years old. He's from Europe. Now he thinks he's talking to an 18-year-old Filipina from Bohol because now they're doing VC, they're chatting, etc. He's sending her load, he's sending her money. So after, I think, 6 months of this, she tells the guy she is 13. He says, that's okay. I'm surprised as you are. I'm just as surprised as you are. But he says, okay. So he's going to come and see her. So the guy has a ticket. Okay, he's coming. Of course, he's a pedo, whatever. Okay, let's just get past it. I'm just telling you what happens, right? So what happens is, this is where the fork in the road happens. So this 50-year-old from Europe, he's going to come over and meet this girl who's the big 1-3, okay? But what happened is, the aunt of the girl is jealous because this guy's about to come over. So she's jealous of this 13-year-old because she has this European guy who's actually coming over to their village to meet the girl. So what does she do? She's a little bit vindictive. So she hijacks her messenger because prior to meeting this guy, she used other people's phones to chat with the guy because she didn't have a phone. Now the guy later, he bought her a phone. But at the beginning, she didn't have a phone. Anyway, so I guess an aunt had her chat ID and started talking to him via messenger that she didn't want to see him. Okay, so she's acting as the 13-year-old and typing and saying, I don't want to see you. But then on the aunt's other messenger, her own messenger ID, she's talking to the guy and she's saying that she wants the European guy to come and see her, not the 13-year-old. So the European guy, he's a little bit confused. He's confused. And what happens is he's frustrated, I guess. He gives up on both of them because he doesn't know what's going on. He's going to some strange village. I mean, he's not going to go there if there's not some clarity of what's going on. Anyway, he's confused. He does not visit Bohol. Probably, I mean, obviously it was a blessing in disguise for the European guy because you'd think, he'd be effed up with this age gap thing. But look, he knew because she told him how old she was. So she knew, the 13-year-old knew how old he was, his old situation. Her whole family, nobody cared. They shrugged their shoulders at the whole thing. They don't care. They don't see it as the same way, we see it in the West. They see it, the way they see it is she's going to be rich. This 13-year-old girl is going to now be rich. That's the way they see it. They don't see, they're totally blind to the whole age gap thing. But even though they're cool with it, think about it, okay? But if one person is jealous or whatever, they told the police or whatever, the local village police, I mean, that the guy would be effed up. He'd spend the rest of his life in jail. Now, obviously, the guy's a peed. Now, he probably deserves it, but I mean, it's better off, just get that out of your mind. Stay in Europe. Stay out of the 1-3 department. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, the whole story is just like a freaking hell of a freaking situation. So this mom has 3 kids. Okay, she's married, I guess. Anyway, the guy, he takes off. The guy she married takes off. So the mom has no choice. She has no job in her little village there in Bohol. So she takes off. What she does is she goes to Cebu to be a nanny. She's living with a family, taking care of the kids, but she's making a salary there. And the family, they give her a house, they give her food. So she doesn't need her salary, actually. So what she does, she sends her entire salary back to Bohol. Now, why does she do this? She leaves her 3 kids alone in Bohol in the house. They have a house, okay, they got a place to live. So the eldest is 16. So the 16-year-old girl is raising her younger brother and sister, okay? So she is a student, she's 16, but she's got to be the mother to her 2 younger siblings. Now, they all go to the same school. Now, how do they get to the school? This is kind of interesting. The 13-year-old brother, he drives them on a trike. Now, I'm thinking, like, is that even legal? Wouldn't that be illegal? And the answer is yes, it is illegal, but it's the freaking province. Nobody freaking cares, okay? You've got to change your mindset when you're thinking about the province, people. Anyway, the girl, the 16-year-old, happens to be bisexual. She likes guys and girls. And she has had 2 boyfriends so far. She's on her second boyfriend right now. And I'm thinking, like, this is a freaking disaster waiting to happen. She is going to get prego before she freaking finishes high school. And I mean, this girl, she knows, she realizes, she's consciously aware that she is not going to college. I mean, her family, they just can't afford it. So her plan is to finish high school. She's just going to get a job, a Jollibee job or whatever. But any kind of job, you need high school. So her goal is to finish high school. And when she gets a job, she's going to send her 2 younger siblings to college. Some insight into the province life situation. Now, it is a brutal life. I mean, from the outside looking in, this is a brutal life. But for them, for these people, it's freaking normal. They're just short of cash, okay? But they are happy people, as I've seen it with my own eyes. But they struggle. They do struggle. But I mean, look, people in the richest country in the world, they also struggle, okay? So these people are struggling. It's no different than them struggling. From what I've seen, the poorer the people are, the happier they are. The richer they are, the more conceited they are, at least in the Philippines. If you want to meet a happy person, meet a poor family in the province. They are the happiest people. And the families, I mean, in the province, man, they're all over the place. Cousins of cousins, I mean, they're spread out via marriages. Like, I've got a half cousin there, a half brother over there, half aunts, whatever. Like, look, the impression is that there are no good that's seemingly what it looks like. There are no good relationships in the province. I mean, it just feels like the Wild West. There's a lot of infidelity going on. And I mean on both sides, man. It's not just the guys. But there are a lot of long-term married couples with good relationships and good families out there in the province. But just as, sex is a national pastime in the province, so is chismis. And the long-term married couples, the happy married couples, people don't talk about them. It's the bad things that gets the whole chismis or word on the street, the whole gossip mill going. So this chismis is stuff I heard myself. Now, the 17-year-old, the 19-year-old girls in the province getting attention from a military guy or a seaman or any Pinoy with a half-decent job. If these guys give these girls attention, they get excited. Because to them, this is like the grand prize here. Just get someone so I'm not struggling anymore. The thing is, the guys know this. They know it. They've seen it with their own eyes. It doesn't take long once these guys in fills with these decent jobs. Once they get in that position, they see how the girls react, and of course they get a big ego. So they use this to their advantage. You may think the girl, she gets prego, she's young, she is the victim. She is a victim. And yeah, it looks like that, okay? But you tell that. You tell that to the family. You tell that to the family. You tell that to the girl who got prego. They don't see it that way. Studying about life in the province, man, I mean, it is just boggles the mind, but it's also quite fascinating. Adios, my good friends. That is it for this video, man. I will see you guys on the next video.